Hey losers, so here's how tonight's gonna work. So I'm playing God of War right now. Um, but while I do that, I'll talk about stuff, do the regular podcast, and then end this bit. It'll only be like half an hour, this first stream. So I'll end it, and then I will listen to either both or just one of them, depending on time. Of the albums that I wanted to listen to, there is Cracker Island or Logic's new one called Park. And I want to do like a music reaction and then a review bit at the end, which I will then include into the podcast. I would do it in one, but that is so much cutting and things and editing that to just do it in a more simpler aspect, I'll just do this. It's easier. So yeah, I'll just chill, stuff. And I got a more I'll do. So let me just move this so you can see my game. You guys are well. Once again, I know it's been a while. What's happened? Let's see. I saw Ant-Man the other day. I liked it. I know there's been a lot of bad reviews, but I don't know. I found it funny. Well, a lot, like really fucking funny. It's actually one of the more funnier fucking Marvel movies. You know, I know there's the whole argument against Marvel that's not really debated, but just said a lot, like Marvel humor, whatever. So yeah, I know that said a lot. So yeah, but there wasn't really much Marvel humor, as people say, in this one. So in that aspect, it just kind of felt more improvised, just more natural play on the humor part of it. So that felt refreshing, very refreshing. It was actually more one of the more new feeling stories that Marvel's done. Of course, Marvel being Marvel, there's a couple Marvelisms that are gonna just happen no matter what. I mean, there's the faceless army that the heroes always have to fight. You can't really have a hero without a villain. So obviously there's the Big Code gang, and that's pretty much all the Marvelisms that were in there. Just figure where to go. Those are kind of the only two Marvel-isms that I kind of found, to be honest. Besides those, I mean, there wasn't really much besides just knowing that you're watching a Marvel movie, which isn't anything. I heard this in another review as well. It was Koi Jandro's review. If you don't know who he is, he's a great guy who reacts to stuff with the Real Rejects, who are also great. And yeah, they're all just great. Anyway, his review was good, but yeah, what he was saying was that another criticism that I had before I get to Koi's thing that I also agree on is that it didn't really feel like an Ant-Man movie, in the sense that Doctor Strange 2 didn't really feel like a Doctor Strange movie, the same sort of sense. So with that, I mean, shit, where was I? Sorry, I'm just gonna figure out where I'm going. Yeah, so Doctor Strange 2 didn't really feel like a Marvel movie, in the sense that just, you know, all the stuff was going on around Stephen, and didn't feel like he was being focused on. Kind of similar to Ant-Man, Quantummania, where Scott's the main focus, sure, and the Ant family and stuff, but then also you have the whole reason for the movie even existing, having to set up Kang for the future of the MCU for the next few phases or couple phases or whatever. I don't know how long they're doing Kang. Anyway, besides the point, Chloe's thing that I was going to say was that the CGI was good. Like, granted, it was fucking beautiful, but like, it didn't really feel like we were living in the quantum realm with the Ant family kind of thing. Like, it felt like we were watching CGI, which I sort of agree with. Like, not every shot felt like I was watching CGI, but I can agree to it in some aspects. And that's pretty much my thoughts. And then I'll go into spoiler territory now. I'll have this warning on my YouTube thing as well. But so yeah, spoilers. I'll just talk about all stuff that happened. And then I don't know if I have any christenings, but I'll just say them with what actually happened in the movie. So, obviously, main standout Kang. I mean, he kicked ass in this movie. Great fucking villain. Obviously, he's not dead. So that they actually, speaking of Marvelisms, they actually beat that one, because the whole typical Marvel thing is for the Marvel villains to die in their same movie that they're introduced, which always bugs me and rubs me the wrong way, but to some extent I get it, because you have to set up your big bad, as you put it, so you can't really have all these villains, all these random one-off villains, as they are always one-off villains, kind of running about while there's this big bad trying to be set up, kind of thing, which I get. It just kind of gets annoying sometimes. I want to see a character more, like, for example, Love and Thunder sucked in the sense, just sucked anyway, but it sucked in the sense of Gore just, like, not even showing what Gore could do, and then, like, killing him off. That was just the icing on the fucking cake of that shitty movie, which sucked, but find the right, leave the God of War, trying to find the last Nornir chest in the mountain region, leave the area, and find the last thing to hit. And they killed Gore off, and that sucked. But with Ant-Man, even though they killed him off, he's not fucking dead. He's just not. He still didn't feel like a one-off villain, because you know what's going to happen now that he stays in the Quantummania. Because, kind of going off topic, that was also a great aspect that they included at the end, where Scott is having kind of PTSD in a way that Tony had after his interaction with his big bad Thanos in his phases, and it was terrifying then. It's terrifying now with Kang. I mean, that's awesome that they're doing that with Scott, and I didn't expect Scott to. I mean, it makes sense because he's the first person of the, I was about to say original six, he's not really original six, of the main cast now to interact with Kang firsthand, other than like a few minor side characters. But Scott was right there with Kang, and he got the not full brunt, but he got the brunt of his powers. Scott dealt with Kang, and now he is terrified to deal with him again. It is so dope. It was played off as a joke, sort of, but then in another sense, it kind of felt like, if any of you have watched The Truman Show, it kind of felt like that a bit, which is terrifying in itself, because you've seen The Truman Show. I'm not really going to explain it, because I feel like I would just spoil it immediately. It's one of those movies, everything's a spoiler. But God, I'm one of those people. It came out over 20 years ago, but anyway. I'm gonna. Do I have any more thoughts? I'm trying to think. This has been kind of decent-ish length for a review. I'm trying to think of. MODOK was interesting. They made him a joke, and I still am debating if I love it or hate it, because as pay to win, and kind of Destiny 2-ish or esque the Avengers game is, it was a good story. You can't deny that. Whoever has played the Avengers game that came out a couple of years ago, or a few years ago, whatever. You can't deny that the main story, the campaign, was great. And especially MODOK, because they made that tiny little head with baby arms and legs somehow terrifying. That scene, I saw a repost of it the other day on TikTok, of MODOK choking Abomination and threatening him, was dope. He was somehow terrifying in that, and it kind of felt the same when in Ant-Man, before we saw his interesting face. That first scene of Scott and Cassie in the shadows, and who the fuck is chasing us, and then you see his all the tentacles, I guess you would kind of call them tentacles, extensions of his armor, weapons and things. You saw those, and you saw him just standing there with oh shit, he's about to wreck shop. And then he opened his helmet, and then I was just oh. It was oh no. This is not good. I was very disappointed at first, and then I kind of just realized, pulled back, and was well, CGI artists overworked. They are, and you just can't really there's the uncanny valley, so you can't really make him look believable because he's not. People like that don't exist. Like the quantum realm doesn't exist. You don't get shrunk into that. Like, it just doesn't. In Uncanny Valley, you just don't believe what you're seeing, and it looks weird. It just does. They could have improved the CGI so his face was a little better, but I get why they made him a joke. Even, like, it's possible to make him look believable, but it's fucking hard work, I would think. I mean, I'm sure it was hard work to even make that non-believable face anyway. But yeah, and then the Freedom Fighters, which included Veb, voiced by David Dastmalchian, returning to the Ant-Man movies since playing Kurt, part of Scott's friend group of the tech guys. He was great as Feb, and that moment of him having holes. I saw my friend Liam, who doesn't really react. He's one of those people who like doesn't really have an emotive, like, what do you call it, sense about him. Like, he doesn't really emote much. So to see him just be like just just have like such a fucking shock factor face when Veb just like opened up and started eating the guards and things. It was great to see. Great to see his reaction. So it was one of the great, more memorable theater experiences from this year so far. Yeah, I was about to say this year, like it already happened. It's been like not even 2 months of this year. So what have I seen this year? I mean, no, I'm getting off track. And the rest of Ant-Man, yeah, the Freedom Fighters were good. They felt a little, like, unnecessary. Like, they invested too much time. The creators in the movie invested too much time in the Freedom Fighters, and, like, world build all you want, but, like, focus on the main characters, not some broccoli-looking guy or some goo guy with holes. Like, come on, like, you focus on the main characters, not some side guys that you want us to care about for some reason. But yeah, I mean, overall, despite that, they looked awesome. Very, very Star Wars vibes, which I'm sure they were inspired by. It didn't feel like a copy, though. It felt very new, very refreshing. It didn't feel like Star Wars, it felt like Ant-Man. It felt Ant-Man. Because it's not his territory, it felt like, or it's not an Ant-Man movie, it felt like, Marvel. Yeah, Freedom Fighters aren't Ant-Man-esque. Oh, I said that. Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much it with the movie thoughts. I mean, talked about the PTSD thing. Post-credit scenes. Oh. I saw it 2 times. Each time I was like, the first time I was like my jaw was just like, I could not speak. I was like, what the fuck? Like, because this whole time, for the past, over a year, or like almost, like coming up on almost a year soon, in the coming months of, since D23, since the what am I talking about? Since the announcement of Ant-Man, I Actually, no, it's been like over a year. Yeah, since the announcement of Ant-Man. It's been all talk. It's been all like, yeah, Kang Dynasty's coming. Like, Kang's on his way. Like, it's all been talk until these until this movie, until these post-credit scenes. Like the first one. First of all, Marvel's been great recently in the recent years. These couple phases of recreating, or like, what's the word? Being comic accurate, because that fucking panel of 1992 Kang panel of all the Kangs, like the Council of Kangs, that was shown also in the post-credit scene of Ant-Man. They recreated that exact fucking thing, and I was like, oh! I was so hyped, and that also felt very Star Wars vibes, like with all the makeup and stuff, with Lizard King and the Scarlet Centurion and fucking Immortus, like, so cool. And to see Jonathan Majors' acting chops, just acting like in slightly different tones and shades of Kang, and like different variants, is so dope. Like, so dope. And I'm just thinking about this now because it didn't feel like Kang, and it felt like Kang in a way, with Lizard King. Excuse me. Fucking tired. It was not Jonathan Majors who was under the makeup with Lizard King. It was actually I forget his name, but some extra. Some random dude, because Lizard King had no words. He was just like, it's Kang, it's me. He was just like screaming. Not those words, but just, like just a blank screen. So obviously they could use an extra, since it's just no lines. So with that, sorry, move the thing a bit. Like somehow he still felt like Kang, which was impressive for an extra to do. Oh, wait, I just picked up on that. Even though it was just a scream. I'm still shocked each time I see it, even though I've seen the movie only twice. And for a Marvel movie, theater value is always the first time, like always important for the first view of any Marvel movie. Frankly, any movie, to be honest, except comedies. To be honest, I was thinking about this recently. Except comedies, because, like, for example, what's the movie? 80 for Brady, turning 80 for Brady, whatever it's called. Like, that's like a wait till it comes on TV kind of thing, where you pay like $5-ish to rent it for a couple nights. You watch it with someone the first night, girlfriend or boyfriend the first night, watch it with your family the second night, like, and you just have fun. You don't make it a whole blockbuster event and pay like $30 with snacks and dinner and whatever. Like, it's sure, if you want to have a fun time with your friends, go the fuck ahead. But it's not like some guys, we can't miss 80 for Brett. Like, it's not like that. Like, that's what theaters should feel like with every release. And I get that, like for example, 80 for Brady, it's just for old people. It's just for like those middle-aged dads that just want to talk about football while some funny scenes are happening, and then they go like, they just want to laugh their asses off, I guess, with their buddies. Sure, like, go ahead. I'm stereotyping, but you get what I'm saying. Going back on Ant-Man, like, it was the fucking quiet experience, and the first time I actually saw it in 3D, and that was to my memory, if my memory serves me correctly, which it usually does. I've been known to have good memory. My memory serves me correctly. I've never seen a 3D Marvel movie in my life so far, until this moment. Until Ant-Man. And I was just in fucking awe. And this was a good first 3D superhero experience. Like Ant-Man, like fucking shrinking the effects, all the visuals of the quantum realm, like all the action with Kang, like that was 3D was the way to fucking go with that. You ran out, my sister, with that. But yeah, man. Overall, just a fun movie. Go fucking see it. Yeah, it's just a fun ride. If you've seen it the first time, like seeing it, like obviously seeing it with people more times after the first time is fun because you get to see the reactions. But for your own experience, it like for your just alone, your experience, it kind of backs it down a bit because you already know what to expect. Like a lot of this movie is shock value because it's a lot of Kang backstory, it's a lot of Kang setup you didn't know before, or the average viewer wouldn't know. Anyway, it's a lot of just what's gonna happen now, like especially the post-credit, like specifically the post-credit scenes. Like, of course I knew that was gonna happen the second time because I remember it's because they're so memorable. And like post-credit scenes, this is like my final thought on the movie. Post-credit scenes haven't felt that important, or I don't even remember the last time they felt that. Like Doctor Strange felt important because you know that that's an incursion in that, at least the Secret Wars, that felt important. And sucks about that though, because I know that original concept was maybe I don't know if it was for a post-credit scene or just a deleted scene, but I think there was a scene that showed Reed still alive somehow, like in spaghetti form after Wanda killed him. If you want to see it, New Rockstar's made a whole video on it, debating if he's still alive or not in that Earth. I forget the Earth, but anyway. 8 something. 800 something. Excuse me. Yeah, man, just overall, one-ass movie. See it in 3D if you can, but if not, you broke like me, see it in a cheap theater. Just a theater, any theater. Doesn't matter. See it with your friends. See it with the one or multiple people that are just nerds like you. That goes for any Marvel movie too, but any just nerd movie goes for same advice. Yeah, it's kind of my thoughts in Quantummania. And moving on. Part of that experience, by the way, was the Flash trailer, which I will talk about now. Great segue, Michael. Thank you, Michael. So I already kind of made a short on this on YouTube, by the way. I'm very active on there. You should check me out. Made a lot recently. Been consistent on there. Contrary to here on Twitch. Sorry again. But yeah, I'm very active on YouTube, and I posted a short recently. I'm gonna get my shorts views up. Service just responding to someone. Don't judge me. Damn, I have to take it again. I'm gonna look stupid. Yes, like it's one thing to see it by yourself like before during the Super Bowl on YouTube on your couch. It's on your TV. It's one thing. Then to see it in a fucking theater when you're already hyped for a Marvel movie. I actually almost jumped out of my fucking chair when I saw the first shot of Barry zooming in to in front of his house. I almost jumped out of my fucking chair. I was like, oh my god. And then cause Hannah, my sister, always sits next to me. I was like, Hannah, I was like pumping her shoulder. It's it. This, I've been waiting for this. I said this in my short too. I've been waiting for this movie ever since The Flash season 3 did it. In the show. 7 years, dog. 7 fucking years, bro. I grew up with The Flash. I know the comic story of the Flashpoint. I know the animated movie of Flashpoint. I know the show. Dog, I've been waiting for this for so long, and now they're finally doing it. And it sucks that it's with a pedophile. But I do. It's not funny. He sucks. Sorry, they suck. They're a piece of shit. Anyway. Not talking about that at all. Not even touching that. Not at all. No thank you. So, despite that, they're releasing it, and it looks great. It looks like everything I've been waiting for, with a few changes that are allowed. That are not this, yeah, kind of necessary. Instead of Michael Keaton's Batman, instead of Thomas Wayne being Batman, there's Michael Keaton replacing that character. Instead of lonely Bruce, who's really brooding. You kind of have a more open, kind of fun Bruce in Ben Affleck's one. Instead of a skinny Clark, who's really scared, you have Supergirl, Kara, who I'm so fucking excited for Barry and Kara's relationship because romance, because I've been waiting for that to come to a movie ever since The Flash and Supergirl and their shows intertwined. Ever since then, I've been waiting for that to come to a movie, and now it's finally happening. And I do hope that Sasha Kyle's Supergirl stays in James Gunn's DC because she looks great. Instead of skinny Clark being scared, it's Kara, who looks very proud and very strong and badass. Doesn't look scared in the slightest. Fucking Zod in place of the Atlantean and Amazonian War, which makes sense because from the past of the DC universe, the old DC universe, I should say, it would make sense that would be the war that would be happening because there's no metahumans, so it makes sense. He looks badass. 10 years passed, it doesn't look like 10 years have passed. Dope. And Supergirl fighting Zod. Oh my god, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose my mind. This is bigger to me than Endgame. No, no cap, not even fucking joking in the slightest. Because Endgame wasn't a comic storyline. Sure, the Thanos thing a bit, but Endgame was very different. And trust me, I know, I have Infinity Gauntlet in my room. But the Flashpoint, is a direct adaptation, again, with only a few slight changes. And it's kind of the effect recently I guess a recent example would be The Last of Us. It's only a few slight changes to some characters, some storylines, blah blah blah, some scenes, and it's just what you read, what you played, whatever, in different medium. And to me, as a filmmaker, that's so fucking douchey. As just a person, an aspiring filmmaker, I think that film is the best medium ever. It's eyes tell the story, as many filmmakers say. So that can be done in film and only in film. What else can only be done in film? VFX can only be done in film. It's the only medium where you can visually tell your imagination and actually have it look like your imagination, look like how you would see it in real life. It's the only medium where you can do that. Because any other medium, you simply have your imagination and you just write it up, and then the viewer imagines it, but maybe not the way you want it. And with film, you can have it the way you want it, and have it look the way you want it, and have it be told the way you want it. It's the greatest medium on earth. It is. And for them to be doing that, like, in a movie is just insane. Like, people lose their minds. Is like, I hope that when I see it in June, yeah, it's coming in June. Forgot when it's coming out. That I will go with like fellow nerds. Like, I hope so. Oh, I'll lose my mind. And then Indiana Jones I'm hyped for. I don't really remember the movies much. I might do a rewatch of those. Maybe. Or I'll just watch like a recap and get hyped over that. But yeah. So I'm excited for that. And then I didn't know, mentioning Liam from earlier, I didn't know he was into the Indiana Jones a lot. Because again, he doesn't emote much and like express his feelings a lot. So he was like, oh yeah, I love Indiana Jones. Like, and he really, I undervalued that, but he seemed really excited, and I was like, oh okay, yeah, let's see that. So I'm excited for that, because I don't remember the last person who was excited for Indiana Jones besides me and my dad. So I'm excited for that shit, and I'm excited for Spider-Verse. Like, it is the sequel to my favorite movie of all fucking time. I could not be more excited for that shit. And then Creed 3, I need to watch Creed 2. Still, I haven't seen it at all. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all that's happened. I was going to do a music reaction, but it is getting late, and I, at this moment in time, am going to be running on less than 7 hours of sleep for tomorrow at school and at work. So, yeah. I don't think there's anything else to really say. There's nothing else really coming out. Yeah, man. With that being said, this has been This Won't Last Long. It's been Michael Crates. See you next time. Hopefully you reacting to the music or something else entirely.